taking a break from his busy schedule of hand washing and rewatching Tiger King. It's time for BSing with Big Nate.
Welcome to another edition of BSing with Big Nate. I'm Big Nate. It's the weekend. Let's talk some BS. I am joined today by a son of the New River Valley. He is no longer living in the area. He's over on the other coast. However, if you've been to a festival in the area, Brewdoo, any of the beer events, all the excellent local attractions we have going on in this area, you've probably seen this man. I'm joined today by Cydeshow Cy. How you doing, Cy?
I'm doing all right. Hey, how are you?
I can't complain. The weather out here has been pretty lousy this week. I'm sure it's gorgeous out there.
Oh yeah, it's hotter than the gates out here, but as that's both a plus and a minus, like given the whole beach protests and whatnot. But otherwise, nice. But whenever I go out in my backyard and practice my stuff.
So practicing your stuff, we'll just kick right into that. For those of you who don't know, Cyrus here is a sword swallower. That's just the tip of the iceberg, though. You've got a lot of other skills. I've seen you put your hand in a animal trap, several animal traps, in fact. And you know what? I can't do it justice. What all do you have in your repertoire?
Well, I am a circus sideshow artist, so I do a bit of balancing stuff, and then some crazy pain tolerant stuff, and then odd things with my body more so. So yeah, there's sword swallowing is the main thing. And the things with the animal traps, like I snap a mousetrap on my tongue, stick my hand in a 1.5 powered small animal trap, blockhead, and I hammer a nail into my nose. I juggle knives, fire, or baseball bats, whatever I can get my hands on there. Juggling is another main thing. I throw knives. I've gotten into knife throwing recently with live targets, crack whips, and the list is ever growing.
So the hammer into the nose, that's a term, blockhead?
Yeah, the human blockhead.
I had never heard that before. I love it. It makes perfect sense. So
yeah, actually, the origin of that one is I believe it was I think it might have been Ward Hall, the owner of World of Wonder Sideshow, the previous owner. He's dead now, unfortunately. But I think it was him that saw the original guy to start performing it, and he said, "Oh, you're original blockhead." So it's like that's where the name stuck.
Oh, I love it. So you've got a lot of skills in your handbag. And you are an entertainer. We were mentioning festivals and even premieres out at the Radford Theater. All the stuff I've seen you at here locally. It involves a lot of social interaction and being around people. And of course, I don't know what it's like out there in California, but early March, everything's shut down here. I know they were either not far behind or ahead of us. So what are things looking like for you? I know I've seen you do a couple of things on Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing is shortly after moving out here, I found a lot of good work doing Renaissance fairs. So outdoor big festivals getting a lot of people. Those were the first to go when this whole pandemic hit. So boom, I was immediately out of all my work. I actually, audience interaction is a big, especially like how I perform. There's a lot of people that will just turn on music and then just do it silently to whoever will watch. But I actually tell jokes, interact with my audience. So that's where like it's been really kind of tough with that. I have been doing the Facebook Live videos, but I don't really get to interact with people as I'm doing that, having the camera out there, and it's the hassle if I do want to interact, coming up, searching through comments or whatever was most recent comment. It's just not something I'm used to. Call me old school, but I'm a carny. I interact with my audience.
That's what we like to hear. So have you been using? I mean, I assume, knowing what I know about you, that you're always using your time wisely or unwisely, depending on which side of the human safety fence you fall.
Right.
Have you been working any new skills? You said you've been practicing.
Oh, knife throwing has been the big one. Because I had been throwing knives for the last couple of years. I mean, a couple of years before I even left to come out here to California, I was doing that one at the Gallows Haunted Attraction. But I just recently, like, I started adding new tricks and then new routines to that, and actually building a list of girls who are actually willing to step up to the board and perform with me once we get our performances back. And hopefully to add, say, a wheel of death that's a spinning wheel with a lady on it, and apply to circuses. That's been the big thing that I've been really focusing on to be able to perform full routines to and offer out to shows.
You mentioned the wheel of right now. Like, say social distancing isn't a thing, and I'm willing to volunteer, step up to the plate. How confident are you that we could do it just fine on the first try?
Literally so confident. My prime example there is me and my roommate just moved into this house recently at the beginning of February, just before all this hit. And there was some maintenance that needed to be done in the house. And while they're working on the house, I'm out in the back tossing a knife, and or tossing like a whole bunch of knives. And sometimes the workers on their breaks would come out, see what I'm doing, and ask me that very question: "How confident are you?" And I said, "Step right up." And they would go up to the board, and I just throw a round of them around them, and they were fine. So yeah, I'll be able to do it.
Is that one of those things, like, the first time you do it, obviously you're not, I would assume you're not trying on a live target, but the first time you've got that live person in front of you, how much are your palms sweating?
Oh, it's really interesting. Is when I was first practicing doing it. Nowadays, like I'm so confident I can just do it out of the blue. But when I first started doing the knife throwing, and then I actually didn't start with a live target when I did it at Gallows. I actually tried to make it a comedy act by using a blow up doll, and and it was easy enough to throw around the doll without the risk and all that. It was ultimately what got the first girl to step up to it, seeing that I never hit the blow up doll. But when she stepped up to it, yeah, I was a little nervous, but yeah, more so confident right there because I had never hit the blow up doll. Interestingly enough, whenever I do throw a knife around a person, I get the most interesting center of focus that I've never experienced in my life. The just zoning right in. It's really weird, actually.
How long ago did you start throwing knives?
I started throwing knives roughly, say, about 5 years ago. I was because I went on tour with a traveling sideshow, Hawthorne Circus Bazaar, about 5 years ago, and and as I was swallowing swords and juggling, doing that whole thing there, and I had a lot of time during the week because we perform mainly on the weekends. So I set up a board and tried chucking in a few knives, and only continued from there.
So when you come home to visit family, do they start to hide the silverware? You know, you've always got that black sheep in the family. You know, hide the silverware. They're going to steal it. But in your case, it's hide the silverware. Cyrus may throw it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's any object. Because I grew up as a juggler. Like I was a juggler and I was a drummer. So I'm either throwing things or I'm hitting things.
What's the craziest thing you've used in a juggling act? Because you see like chainsaws and stuff. So I just wonder where you're at and where you want to go with juggling.
So I've actually the craziest thing I have used is indeed a chainsaw, and that was at Gallows. I juggled one chainsaw. I will just to say I did it really, because that's one of the things that everybody asks you when you're a juggler. When you're a juggler doing dangerous stuff, either way, they will ask you, when are you gonna do a chainsaw, or here, do a chainsaw. So I did a chainsaw. Nearly took off my leg doing it. So that's why I'm not doing it again until, well, I might do it again if I get a better made chainsaw. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Oh, so you're blaming the chainsaw?
Yeah, well, I would blame the chainsaw, but then I'm the one who put it together. I mean, especially attached to the handle and whatnot. So really, I need to put the time and effort and the real money into making a proper chainsaw. I have a friend out here that I've made in Ren Fair Circuit, Aaron Bonk. He juggles chainsaws, and and he says it's no laughing matter on it. But the way it's built and the way it's supposed to be balanced, yeah, you got to put some time and money into it. So yes, it was my fault.
But ultimately, it was the chainsaw. I'm on your side. I've seen you do incredible things, so I'm not gonna question it. Have you upgraded your last time I saw you, you were carrying all of your swords around in a golf bag. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I still do that. I actually have different things that I carry my swords in now, especially because I do the sword swallowing at Renaissance fairs, try to make it look more period accurate. But yeah, the golf bag is a big thing. I have a full like sword stand. Believe it or not, that's actually what my iPad is standing on right now. Is my is my sword stand for Renaissance fairs, and it's kind of like a plaque sort of thing. And then I also recently built because I had a New Year's Eve gig at the Magic Castle last year, and well, last year / early this year because it was New Year's Eve, and I had to build like a table of some sort. It was almost like a golf club rack, but I made it for swords, because I didn't have the room or the access to be able to move around my sword stand, and I wanted something looking more classy than the golf bag. So yeah, I have this almost like golf club stand for my swords.
You know what? I'm gonna declare it now. You're the rock star of sword swallowing, because when you think about it, you go to a rock show. Along the side of the stage, you see all of the guitarists' guitars lined up on a nice rack, and you have created that with swords and various sideshow accoutrements. We'll go ahead and get a little French there. So pretty impressive. What looking forward? What's the first thing you're looking forward to most once all this is over?
Oh, go return to the Renaissance fairs. Oh God, returning to the Renaissance fairs, because that is where I get my most thrill. That's where I found my niche in performing. I'm also really looking forward to performing at Teatro Martini. That's a cabaret dinner theater that I had auditioned for just before all this hit. Literally did the audition, like threw the knives, swallowed the swords, ate the fire, cracked the whips. They loved me. Immediately wanted to throw me into the show. Boom, pandemic. So once they open back up, I'm gonna be a part of that show.
Yeah, so you got a lot on the horizon. You got a lot to look forward to. What are you doing non sideshow activity wise to keep yourself from going nuts during all of this?
I read some. I play video games. The cracking the whips and the knife throwing has also been like occupying the time in there. Oh, I fenced with my roommate. He and I were both previous competitive fencers. So he and I will actually put on the masks and take the weapons out back, and we'll fight each other.
Was it you? I think you shared a meme. Maybe it was you. It was competitive fencing, the originally social distance sport.
Oh yeah, so many people shared that one with me. Because they know me and swords and all that. But yeah, it seriously is. You wear a mask, you wear your glove, and if anybody gets within 6 feet of you, you stab them.
I was tickled. It's the safest, most unsafe thing you can do during all of this. So you said you've been reading. What have you been reading to pass the time?
Recently, I was reading Smoke and Mirrors. It's Neil Gaiman's first collection of short stories. Highly recommended. They are some really neat ones, some actually pretty funny, a whole lot of weird. If you know Neil Gaiman, you know you're in for weird.
Definitely a lot of weird available there. Where can the BSing with Big Nate and 105.3 The Bears fans find you? Where can they see you in action online?
That's one of the reasons why I put up my sideshow banner right here. Is like so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, at Cydeshow Cy. I just keep those two social medias right now because I suck at social media. But yeah, otherwise, if you just Google that, you'll find me there. Eventually, I'll have a website up if I ever get my ass in gear. But yeah, just type in Cydeshow Cy and you should find me.
That is a really attractive banner. I have to ask, did you paint that or was it done by someone else?
No, this one was me. I took a week and painted this so I could present at Renaissance fairs behind me.
I like it. It definitely has that classic sideshow feel. It definitely fits. I love the.
That's the idea, and it's easy to do because nobody was really good at painting when it came to a sideshow.
You're better than
I appreciate.
You're a better painter, that's for sure. I am joined by Cydeshow Cy. This is BSing with Big Nate. Of course, you can interact him like he said. Facebook, Cydeshow Cy. Not that hard. You spell Cyd, C-Y, and then you spell Cy, C-Y. Thank you for joining me. Keep swallowing those swords.
My man, Big Nate, you keep on doing what you do. Keep on hosting the radio and all that.
I'm winging it. That's all we're doing. That's a whole load of BS.
Yeah. Keep being awesome. That's what you gotta do.